Hey guys, thank you for joining us. We are joined by Hawlee Cromwell. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
We are terrific. Thank you for asking. It's a pleasure to get you on. I know we've been wanting to do this for a while, so we ask
I'm,
everyone.
I'm I'm like the flakiest person in the world. I feel terrible about it.
Ah,
Don't worry about it.
don't worry at all. Now we normally say how are you and how are things, but obviously the world's kind of shit at the minute, innit? So I mean,
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, are you doing the best that you can? Should we say that?
Yeah, I mean I'm still working, which is good.
Yeah.
How
I
have you?
only
I was gonna say
ever
how
was
have
out
you
of work.
found that? Yeah.
I'm sorry?
No, I was gonna say. So you said you're still working. How have you found that? Still been able to work? Obviously during the pandemic, it must be important that you've still been able to get work.
It's definitely helpful. Like we were out of work for I think like a month at the most because I mean this country doesn't really care about it. So we kind of stayed in quarantine for like a month and then everyone was like, "Okay, we're back."
Yeah, it was kind of similar here. We're in our third lockdown at the moment, which sounds like a good idea, but it's already too late.
Oh
Every time
god.
we've gone to lockdown, it's already been too late.
Right.
So now we're locked down until March, so we can't really leave the house or anything. But I heard it's pretty similar in the States at the moment as well.
Oh yeah.
But I guess the good thing is, at least you're able to still work. That's the main thing. And
Yeah, it's definitely
uh,
important.
have you been able to do much when it comes to wrestling? Have you been able to keep up with your training?
I mean, so in I live very close to Indianapolis,
Mhm.
and we don't really have a school right now. A lot of things happened, and so the place that a lot of us trained, we don't go there anymore.
Yeah.
So I haven't been able to train. It's probably been since like May or June. It's been somewhere close to like last summer that it's been since training. Just because I don't drive, so I have a hard time getting places to like
Yeah.
train.
Yeah. It
Well,
must
I'm
be
gonna
awful,
tell
right?
you right now. Sorry, Callum. You don't want to drive. It's horrible. I hate driving. Seriously. Take it from me. You do not want to drive. Although
I,
I guess it might help
I,
with. Yeah, yeah.
it always feels weird though, because I'm 26 and I haven't never driven, so.
Uh, if you want to spend like the rest of your life being angry behind a wheel, then go for it. But it's just I hate it. I hate it so much. I I get severe road rage. I don't recommend it whatsoever. But before we talk obviously about your career and stuff, it's WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania. It's Royal Rumble tonight. Even it's Royal Rumble tonight. So I've got to
Mhm.
ask you about the freelance Halloween Rumble. And I mean, you you was the Undertaker for this, correct?
I was, yes.
Tell me about it because we spoke to Blair Onyx a couple of months ago. She told us about being Brock Lesnar in this Rumble. So tell us about being the Undertaker.
That so a lot of that so that stemmed from a joke that started at Bizarro Lucha because Tripp decided him and Shotzi wanted to give me something to do, and he was like, okay, but you have to be the Undertaker, and so that just started from there. And Matt Nix, he knew that because he might have been there, he just knew, and he was like, well, we want you to do the Rumble, and you're gonna be the Undertaker. I was like, or I think they let me choose the Undertaker. I can't remember exactly, but it all came from a joke with Bizarro Lucha.
I think that was the first time I'd heard of you was from that Battle Royal. I
Okay.
saw the pictures from that Battle Royal on Twitter, and I was like, that looks like a lot of fun. I followed a few of the people from there. Uh, but yeah, I mean, that must have been a once in a lifetime thing to portray the Undertaker in a
Uh,
Battle Royal.
it was great. So I take a running joke, not so much his personality, but it's him as a wrestler. I always take a running joke that Undertaker's my dad.
Yeah, that I can kind of see that. Yeah, the whole darkness thing. Yeah, it kind
Mhm.
of makes sense. And that was going to be my first question is, I know like your character is
Mhm.
witch, dark, but how much of that is you as well? Because from what I've seen, you do actually practice tarot cards as well.
It's kind of funny that you ask because I have incense burning. I have a crystal ball right here. I have a scrying mirror, and I have my tarot cards just kind of sitting in front of me right now.
So it's not a gimmick. It's not a
No,
character.
it's pretty much so. It started with my gimmick, but it was kind of something I was interested in anyways, and it's kind of just my life now.
Yeah. So did you just choose something you had interest in then to bring into wrestling?
Pretty much, because I used to do so like a bright colored anime gimmick, but that wasn't really me. So when I was trying to figure out and change what I was doing, I was just kind of picked from what I do, which is witchcraft anyways, and was like, this works, this is good.
Do you feel more comfortable doing something like that then, opposed to the?
Oh yeah, definitely.
The anime character.
Oh yeah, this is my life, so it's kind of, I don't really have to think about it because it's kind of just what I do anyways.
I'm fascinated now. I kind of want to do a live tarot reading, but I'm terrified you're going to tell me I'm going to die. So.
Oh, I'm not that good yet. I'm still learning. I still have to look up a lot of what the cards mean.
I've seen that you post some to your Instagram stories, like you'll post a picture of a card, and I'm sat there for a moment trying to work out, like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? So.
I just like to. I have a bunch of friends that do it with me. Like I'll give Shotzi Blackheart readings, and she's very interested in witchcraft as well. And we have a card reader that we go and see in Orlando named Justify, and so he always gets excited when he sees me practicing.
Yeah, you mentioned Shotzi actually. So I know you two are good friends. What's it like, obviously, getting to be around Shotzi? And obviously now she's in NXT. Are you learning a lot from her, or she comes across as she's pretty wild? I mean, is that the real Shotzi?
Oh yeah, Shotzi she's a ball of energy. She is one of the best. She's one of my favorite people to be around. Whenever I need to get out of indie is when I go see her, because it makes me happy, and I get to hang out with her and her puppies, and we get to just have fun and not worry about anything.
Well, I mean, that's it. I mean, obviously you get to be around her, but I'm going to be honest. I mean, NXT, is that the goal for you at some point? I mean, I want to see you and her go at it one-on-one.
We have actually twice wrestled before. And I would love to do it again. NXT, it's always a goal. Everyone grows up watching WWE. It's always a goal. It's not like necessarily, that's not the end all be all, but it would definitely be a good career goal.
Oh, hell yeah. And obviously you mentioned growing up watching WWE. We know, obviously, you're into the dark side and all that. But am I right in thinking you was a big Shawn Michaels fan as well growing up?
Oh, yeah. Shawn Michaels everyone has, like, moments where they started watching and got sucked in. Now, the first, like, full wrestling moment I remember seeing was in 2005, and it was actually in the midst of the Edge and Matt Hardy feud where they jumped off the stage.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing I saw that I was like, what is this? And I want to watch this. But I remember being younger, like it was like a year or two younger, and I was flipping through channels, and I saw Shawn Michaels, and I was just instantly like, that person looks cool. I'm interested in whatever that is. Yeah,
that was absolutely the same for me. Shawn Michaels was the guy who got me into it, and whenever people ask, like, are you a Shawn Michaels or a Bret Hart person? Because everybody always asks that. I'm always like, oh, I'm a Shawn Michaels guy. But I've realized Bret Hart was actually a pretty cool dude. Shawn Michaels was a bit of a dick.
Oh yeah, of course. When you actually learn about everything that went on.
Yeah. But it didn't change my mind. I'm still a Shawn Michaels guy, die hard. He's the guy who got me into wrestling. So Shawn Michaels for you was the guy who made you a fan.
Oh, definitely. It's like I love to randomly throw super kicks in matches just because Shawn Michaels is. I'm not one of the strongest people, so I can't do like the teardrop suplex, and I can't do a lot of things, but I can throw super kicks in there.
Yeah, he's I mean, let's face it, he's probably the greatest of all time, isn't he? So it's not a bad guy to look up to, you know, and take a lot from, right? It's true, but Indiana, I'm changing the subject for a second. You're in Indiana, right? I mean,
that's where I'm living right now. Yes.
That's one of mine and Callum's favourite places. We came there a couple of years ago. We came to see All In, and we have a friend in Chicago. Sorry, he's in Indiana. We drove down to Chicago. We fell in love with Indiana. Absolutely fell in love with the place.
Amazing.
There was a bar called Finnegan's that we fell in love with.
Okay.
It's just we're jealous. I'm telling you this because I'm jealous. I want to be in Indiana right now. That's why I'm telling you this. And I'm sure Callum agrees with me.
I'd happily move to Indiana or Chicago in a heartbeat.
Yeah, it's literally as soon as the world opens up. Oh, yeah. As soon as the world opens up, we're back there.
You've got such an amazing wrestling scene in that area too.
Oh, so many people. There's so many wrestlers, and there's so many amazing wrestlers, and so many that are starting to get noticed.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone we've spoken to recently, we've always mentioned like the Chicago, Indiana wrestling scene. Like you've got Black Label, AAW, Freelance, Warrior. You know, that whole region is like the hotbed of wrestling in America right now. Is there any companies in that area which you're looking to, you know, make a debut in this year, if you can?
I would definitely love to, if possible this year, debut with St. Louis Anarchy. Because I've worked for Freelance, I've worked for AAW, I've worked with Black Label before, and I've never worked with St. Louis, so I feel like that'd be a really cool one to start working with.
So as well, obviously in Indiana, you've got New Wave Pro as well, which I think you've worked for. Because we spoke to Cole Radrick a few weeks ago, who put them over very highly as well. What's it like been for you working with New Wave? Obviously, they're your home state company. Did you learn a lot working there?
Oh yeah, New Wave is great. It's great people. They always give me the opportunity to work with people I love working with. I've got to work with Alice Crowley with them, and Alice Crowley is one of my favorite people to wrestle. We just beat the shit out of each other, and it's just a great time.
Yeah, I love that. I'm guessing that's the style you like then, is it then? The smash mouth beat the shit out of you.
Pretty much. I love doing fancy things, and I love taking like submissions, like cool pins, but I like just beating. It's just fun getting beaten up and beating people up, honestly.
That's something you only hear in pro wrestling, right?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, I mean, that would go well. I mean, over here, I mean, obviously we have the British strong style sort of wrestling. I mean, is that a goal of yours to get over here to the UK?
Oh, definitely. I was supposed to go over there a couple of years ago, but I had issues with money, so I wasn't able to go. I'm really hoping when everything opens back up, I'm more financially stable now, so I can actually get over there.
Yeah.
England's definitely a goal. Germany is definitely one of my goals too. I've always wanted to go to Germany, and I would love to work with WXW.
Oh, I can definitely see your character getting over in. Oh, I say character. we discussed it's not, but I can definitely see that getting over in Germany. There's a lot of wrestlers in Germany who have that kind of style, like that darkness. You know, I think that would be awesome to see. But even in the UK, there's so many like female promotions, women's wrestling promotions.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which would be awesome to see you in. But then intergender wrestling as well in the UK has become pretty normalized as well. Is there anyone in the UK that you'd like to mix it up with? Anyone that stands out?
Ooh, one of my favorite wrestlers in the UK that I would love to wrestle is definitely Charlie Evans.
Right.
Because I love her so much. She's so lovely, and she just loves to beat people up and get beaten up, and I just love her. Yeah,
that would be interesting. She's definitely she doesn't take any shit, does Charlie Evans?
No, not at all. I've gotten to interact with her and like get to know her with Shimmer, and she's lovely.
Complete sidetrack. What's your cat called? I saw the cat make an appearance.
Oh, I have a couple. I have one named Noir, and I have one named Mick Foley.
Mick Foley.
Yeah, I have another cat, but he's with my old roommate that we named the Dynamite Kit.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I just noticed it because I've got a cat somewhere around the house as well. Me and Callum live in the same house, so she might be down there somewhere, but you might get an appearance. She's called Opie. Okay. I'm a massive Sons of Anarchy fan, and when I got her, I thought she was a he, so I called her Opie. But it turns out he was a she. But I thought, do you know what? It's a cool name, so she's still Opie.
It's gender neutral.
Exactly.
I do like that you didn't just call your cat Foley or Mick, you've called it Mick Foley.
Mick Foley.
So we originally started calling him Foley. That was his name because of Mick Foley. But then I just kind of got into the habit of calling him Mick Foley.
I prefer that, actually. I prefer the full name. It works so much better.
Oh, it's given him, I call him Mickey. He gets Mickey Mouse. He has a full name. His full name is Nicholas Fullerton. Just like.
I love that about cats. Like when you have a cat, you can never just call them one name. They always have about 20 nicknames as well.
But when you call them by their real name is when they're in trouble.
Yeah.
That's just brilliant. I love that. I love that. You'll probably see Mark. I don't know where she is. I thought she was here with me. So God knows where she is. She'll be laid out somewhere. She's she runs the house, so I'm sure she's doing whatever she wants.
That's these two.
Yeah, oh, she does. She's the boss. She's got me right around the little paw. Obviously, we mentioned, like, obviously Indiana, Chicago. The indie scene in general during the pandemic has really thrived. They've kept going. And a lot of that has been, obviously, the Chicago, Indiana area. How important has that been, obviously, for you, with it being that area as well, to obviously keep going?
It's very important just because Indiana, I moved here about 3 years ago and they took me in and like accepted me. And so it's really important to see everyone here thriving and not just not being able to do anything. It's really nice to see a lot of Indiana people, especially working with GCW, because they're like the only place really working right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Did you get to see any of Fight Forever yesterday?
So I the last 2 days I've been working like every day, so I haven't had a chance to watch anything yet, actually.
It's great if you get a chance to check it out. I mean, I didn't think it would work doing a 24-hour wrestling show, but it really did. I hope to do it again. Such a great idea, though.
It's kind of funny because it is a whole new concept for like indie wrestling in a whole, but there's a promotion back in Oregon called DOA. And they've done 24-hour, like overnight 24-hour promotion stuff before.
Right.
It's interesting to see it happen on like a bigger scale.
Yeah. It really worked. They did a fantastic job, and obviously, like you said, you'd have one show, and then they'd have a 5-minute break, then another show would come on. Really well done. I mean, as a wrestling fan, I literally sat on the sofa yesterday and just watched it all day long. I mean,
you could keep it on from when it started, and it'd just be playing.
That was it. It was just on throughout the day. I mean, I've got so much to watch still. There's so much wrestling. I've still got Dynamite to watch, NXT, Impact. Yesterday was just a complete 24-hour GCW Fight Forever, and it was worth every bit of it. It really was.
How would you feel about wrestling at like 4 o'clock in the morning then? Because I saw some of these people wrestling at 3 or 4 in the morning and then tweeting that they'd been awake for like 28 hours. And I was thinking, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to sleep. I'd have to be awake the whole time and just be getting ready.
Yeah, because otherwise you're just thinking, obviously after the match you're completely wired, I imagine.
Oh, yeah.
And before you just, you're going through, I've got a match in 2 hours. You won't be able to sleep.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I won't be able to do that.
Yeah. I do this a lot. I sidestep and just chat shit every now and then. Obviously, I was watching an interview you had previously, and you was mentioning obviously you're like a big horror fan as well. I've been binging the Halloweens this past few days. I know you're a big fan of Halloween, aren't you?
That's my favorite franchise.
Do you take a lot of that into your character as well? Do you take bits of like Michael Myers perhaps, and do you look into the horror genre for ideas?
I mean, I don't really. It might seem like it. I don't talk a lot when I wrestle, so it might seem like that because I don't really do a lot of talk. I don't do a lot of shit talking. I kind of just stay stoic.
Yeah.
But no, I don't really take a lot of inspiration from the horror. I take a lot of that into my aesthetic, but not so much in like how I do things.
Yeah, well, Halloween's my favourite as well. There's just something about Michael Myers that's just
it's
badass.
John Carpenter is a genius. He's made some of the greatest movies of all time.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind the Rob Zombie Halloweens, but I'm certainly a John Carpenter.
I hate them so much. I hate how they had to be like, we have to give Michael a background. We have to give him a bad background. It's like he was just a suburban kid. Like he wasn't.
Yeah.
They didn't have to do any of that.
Yeah, it didn't need explaining.
He's just evil.
Exactly. I feel like they put so much into explaining Michael in the Rob Zombie ones that it's like you don't have to.
Yeah, it kind of takes some of the mystery and the evil when you try and explain it.
Yeah, I don't want Michael humanizing, if that makes sense, because he's.
No, you don't need to humanize your villains. It's so people have such a fascination of humanizing villains. You don't have to.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's so true in movie
Michael
and real life.
Kid.
Yeah.
Michael was a kid that was evil. Like Jason was a kid that drowned and came back to get revenge. Like Freddy got burned to death. Like they don't have to give them backstories. This is just how they are.
It just comes across like a cash grab, doesn't it? Like they just have to
100%.
making money. Yeah.
So yeah, this is where we normally give a shout out to our friend Rivers Johansson, who has a horror podcast called Make It Darker. So we recommend him to you as well, because he's a big horror guy. So check him out. I've got to talk as well because one of Callum's favourite companies, he grew up watching these. One of the first companies he discovered, IWA MidSouth. You've worked there.
I have, yeah.
Yeah, what was that experience like? Because, like I said, Callum is a huge fan of that company.
Yeah.
It's definitely interesting. Working for Ian's always good. He gives everyone a shot, and he gives you good feedback, and it's always nice to be able to work with people that you like, because most of the people, the only people that really work there for the most part are a lot of people just from Indiana, and so it's just kind of like a homegrown place, really.
Yeah, I always found it interesting because, like I said, after Ring of Honor, it was maybe the first independent promotion I watched, and seeing like a young Seth Rollins as Tyler Black and Marek Brave, all of the people that came through.
Sorry.
IWA MidSouth was just really cool, but I also didn't know it was still going. You know, even nowadays, it's still going and still producing.
Every Thursday and Saturday, I still believe.
Really? Like that
so.
regular?
Yeah, they run at least once a week still.
That's crazy. I don't know why. I didn't know they were running anymore. And then we spoke to Marek Brave, and he said, "Oh yeah, they're still going." I was like, "Oh, okay."
I think it's just because there's not as many big names that work IWA MidSouth anymore.
Right.
It's more just like local, smaller people, so it doesn't get as much of a. I think one of the biggest names that works there still is Jake Christ.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, we spoke to Jake. I think he did mention actually that he was working there. I think he mentioned he's the champ. Is he the champion?
Yeah.
I'm sure, yeah, he is, yeah. Yeah, I do remember. Yeah, he mentioned he's their current champion. Yeah. Another company as well we're huge fans of, and you worked, is Shimmer. I mean, what was that experience like? Obviously, you must have learned a lot working there.
I always love going up. The best weekends for me were when I could go to do Rise and Shimmer, because I would do Rise and then be there for the whole Shimmer weekend. It's always a great experience because you got Lexi Fife you can get advice from. You have Allison Danger you can get advice from. You have all the girls that have been there forever, and you have Dave Prazak who's been around women's wrestling forever, and Kevin Harvey. So like it's really really good experience. Like I learned a lot, especially being around everybody.
There's so many good women's wrestling promotions in the world, like the UK, Canada, everywhere is a really good promotion, but I feel like Shimmer is the best one for me. It seems like it's had such a good roster.
Definitely.
A good mix of like up and coming talent, but also veteran talent as well. Is that somewhere you'd like to get back to then this year if you can?
Oh, I would love to. Working for Shimmer has always been a top goal because it's the only main women's promotion in the country.
Yeah.
And they have so many amazing women, and it would be amazing to go and work there again. I would love to work. Like one of my first matches I had was with Jessica Havoc, like ever, and so I'd love to work her again, possibly at Shimmer. Whenever she can get back into the U.S., I'd love to work Nicole Matthews again because I got to work with her at Defy once.
Yeah, I was going to ask you actually. I know you wrestled Jessica Havoc. What was it like actually wrestling Jessica Havoc? Because I get obviously Jessica's, these different styles. Jessica's quite a bigger. She's taller, she's bigger. What was it like working with Jessica and obviously that style compared to your style?
It was amazing. She was my 5th match ever, and that was so I actually lived with her and Sammy in the summer of 2017 for a little while, and so it was before that, and it was great. Like Jess, she took care of me. She like knew what I could do, and it was really nice to be able to work with Jess because she's just a lovely person. I love her so much.
Yeah,
I consider her and Sammy my wrestling parents because they took care of me when I lived with them. Like I call Jess my mom all the time.
Yeah. No, I don't think she gets the credit she deserves sometimes. Her name doesn't get mentioned enough because she is such a talented woman. Yeah. I get, like you said, obviously that's someone you've obviously learned a lot from.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, obviously, 2 things. First of all, if the world reopens, what's the plans for 2021? I mean, is AAW Dark doing amazing things? Is that a goal? I mean, what are the plans?
My plan is basically just to wrestle more, just to get out more, because but last year I didn't get to do much, obviously, because everything was closed down. Hopefully this year everyone can get it together and we can get back to running shows again. I would love to just get out more. If I could work AAW Dark, that'd be cool. If not, it's not the end of the world for me.
No.
Yeah, I think that's that's the best thing to do. A lot of people I've spoken to are just eager to get back into the ring, wherever that is, and carry on from where you was before the pandemic. Make a name for yourself. And I actually did say to Jamie, I really do believe in a couple of years down the line, I mean, if AEW happened, great, but I can see you in NXT. Like, I just think you scream NXT. And especially with like Elena, Elena Black, obviously, very familiar with Elena. She's just signed. I feel like you two would be an incredible team in WWE. And I can see that.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
So one final thing then we have to ask, because it's Royal Rumble day. Who's winning both the Rumbles? Who you got?
So I'm not very familiar. I don't have cable, so I haven't been able to watch so I have no idea who's around really. So I'm not entirely sure who I would have for the men's Rumble, but I know for the women's one, I'm always rooting for Shotzi because it's one of my best friends.
Hell yeah. I'm looking. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going with Shotzi as well. Yeah, I mean the men's one. Then if you don't know who's around, then let's.
For the men's, I'm going Shinsuke. I think. I know it's wishful thinking, but I'm going Shinsuke Nakamura.
That would be a good one.
Yeah.
See, I was going to wind her up and say like Stone Cold Steve Austin's in it and the Blue Genie.
Oh yeah, you've missed out in the time you haven't had cable. Stone Cold's come back. The Rock's there.
The Blue Mean is the Universal Champion. I mean, you've missed out so much. Come on.
If I had to choose somebody, I'd probably say Daniel Bryan, just because he's an amazing wrestler.
Yeah.
He's so underrated, I feel like, still.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. He's my pick.
You're absolutely right. He's won every championship in WWE. Mm-hmm. He's done everything, but he's still somehow underrated. And I feel like no matter what he did, he'd still be underrated.
Oh yeah, he could punch someone in the face and take their title, and just everyone would be like, eh.
Yeah, it still won't be enough.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's actually my pick. I've said him from the start, so I'm going to stick with him. I'll be like Jerry Lawler. When the Rumble goes on, I'll probably have about 15 different picks. But at the minute, it's Daniel Bryan. But before we let you go, obviously, tell everybody where they can find you, any merchandise.
I got my Twitter is at Hawleesaur. I have my Instagrams at the Hawlee Cromwell. I have my Pro Wrestling Tees page under Hawlee Cromwell. I have a bunch of shirts under Fully Gimmicked.
Well, it has been an absolute pleasure. I definitely want you to come back on because I want to do a tarot reading.
Anytime.
I want to do this. I want to know what's going on with my life, so we're going to do that. But for now, it has been an absolute pleasure. We wanted to do this for so long, and it's been an absolute treat. We can't thank you enough.
No problem.
It's been a pleasure. Hawlee, thank you so much. We are Ringsiders.